Folks, I'm so excited for our next guest. He is a legend in the mixed martial arts world. You know him. I know you love him. It is Chuck, the Iceman Liddell. Thank you so much for jumping on with us.
Thanks for having me, man. How you guys doing?
Doing
well,
great,
Chuck. We just
How's
had
your Super Bowl week?
It's been
long, but it's been
jam-packed
cool.
these last 3 days. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little crazy out here.
And I'm glad you're asking because you sitting down right here at our table is pretty cool. I watched you fight growing up, and same thing with Fernando, so it's pretty surreal. So we're glad you're here.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad to be here.
And go ahead.
I was gonna say we just had a Rampage on, so back to back, it was pretty cool. You guys fought, so I'm assuming you guys are good and friends.
Oh,
now.
we're friends. We've been hanging out. We were hanging out last night at dinner together. So, yeah.
That's awesome. But can you just talk a little bit about your career and just so many years of fighting and everything? Just how would you sum up your Hall of Fame career?
You know, I'm not sure how to sum it up. It was a great time. We were growing a sport. You know, the evolution of the sport was evolving the whole time, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, we spent a lot of time, promoting the sport, getting out there fighting, and you know, I don't know, it was fun.
Is there a memorable fight that you have that you remember?
They're all pretty memorable, actually, to me. I remember a lot of them, but people always ask me, what's your favorite? If you had the gun to my head, I would have to say the Randy, the second Randy fight. So my first one, I lost the first one, came back and beat him. I beat him the way I like to beat him with a knockout in the first round, and I became world champion. I just won Ultimate Fighter. I mean, we had the biggest pay-per-view we'd had. And, it was the biggest paycheck I'd gotten. I mean, it was by a long shot. And so it was a great day.
Chuck, I'm sure you get this question all the time, but you help bring up the sport of MMA and UFC, and which is to see the sport and UFC get so big the way it is. Sometimes does it kind of surprise you, or do you kind of reflect on it, like how massive it is and the way you guys started?
Well, the thing was like, I always thought it would get here because I think it's the greatest sport in the world, but I thought it would take a lot longer. And I think really what happened, the Ultimate Fighter was what really launched it. I mean, Ultimate Fighter doing that show it was getting a free fight on TV and really what that did was get like sponsors and media and stuff to realize what a big fan sport we were, because how much viewership they were surprised. I think they were surprised how many people watched us. So, but after getting that, that blew up the sport so much. I went from I'd be able to walk into a mall and tell you that guy over there in a tap out shirt, and that guy might know who I am, and that guy probably does. To like people walking up and going, "Hey, great fight last night." A 60-year-old lady walking up, going, "Hey, great fight last night." And I'm like, "How do you know me?" Well, it was just everybody. That happened from being up before the show to off with the show being over and winning the title. That was it was that fast.
You also have dabbled in acting. I saw you in The Workaholics. Blue Mountain State is one of the funniest ones that I saw you. I thought in that one you were hilarious.
Here's one of the funny story about that one. So they asked for me do you have any crazy? Because the guys that write it are on the show.
Yes.
But they asked me, is there a crazy move we can do with this? And I gave them that cartwheel and a horseshoe punch.
The ultimate fight move.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing with that is we used to do every once in a while, John would do like a point sparring thing at the end of my training camps, be like with all this, with guys that are guest guys that are there, and we all get a big circle and do like old school point fighting, right? And everybody knew it was coming from me, but like, that was the big thing. If I could do the cartwheel to that and score it, that was like the biggest like, oh wait, I got you kind of thing. And guys, if they're not used to it, they're like, what is he doing? I get them all the time. It was all that someone had never seen me do it. I used to get them. So that's why I did it. It was funny.
Wow. I got to watch it again to see this because it sounds, from your point of view, it sounded much better.
It's hilarious.
Okay.
It was funny.
I like watching the show, but Chuck, how's life been going for you?
Oh, by the way, the editor there, hey, whoever edited that show, thank you, because I was told I had no lines. I showed up, I had like 8 pages of lines.
Really?
So I had to learn. I'm like trying to learn all those the night before and act them and like And I'm like, man, I thought I did a mediocre job of shooting. Like, we got through it, but I was like, man. And whoever edited, he made me look great. So thank you, whoever edited that. Thank you.
So in the episode, it was Sammy had eaten cherry panties, but they were cherry panties, and they were expired. And he was gonna fight some girl's brother, and he's like, I got Chuck Liddell to train me. He thought Chuck Liddell was actually there, but he really wasn't there. But that's why he was showing him all these moves. And he's like, are you sure this is going to be able to help me, Chuck? And then he's like, yeah, man. Would I steer you wrong? So I just remember that. But it was funny.
It was funny.
Hilarious.
That was a lot of fun.
Was it pretty difficult to learn all those lines in one day?
Yeah. I mean, and to be able to learn them and perform them is a different thing. Like, I'm really good. I have a good short-term memory. I was one of the things I was good at in college, I could study real quick and remember stuff, and then forget it later. but to be able to, it's different with acting. Like if I have to give you a good facial expression, I gotta act like I'm really delivering the line, not like I'm remembering it in my head.
Yeah.
Like but that's hard. Like to actually get it. Like so I need some time to get comfortable with the line, so I can just give it to you. So they gave me enough time. They played with me a little bit, and they, some of I think they did something where they got the audio, but they didn't get my face. They did little tricks like that. I think they used to help me out. But they did. I looked great. I thought I looked like I did a good job.
Yeah, I'm sure the editing was great. And sometimes I feel like I don't do a good job when we're doing videos, and Fernando does a great editing job, and I feel like, okay, I did something right. Sometimes you never know.
Yeah.
But Chuck, I wanted to ask you because, when you go to UFC events and they give you the TV time, you get a loud pop at the ovation with the crowd. So we see you from that. But how's life going for you? What have you been up to?
Life's great, man. I'm doing a lot of stuff. I do some speaking engagements. I do some charity stuff. I do a lot of appearances. I travel a lot. Like I raise my kids too. I do a lot of goofing around with my kids and hanging out at home. So. I've been having a blessed life. I mean, I'm able to do a lot of things. I try, do some movies here and there. I do some acting, just whatever comes up. I mean, whatever. It still keeps me interested. So,
do you still train?
Yeah, I still like to work out. I mean, I haven't as much as I wanted to get lately because I've been traveling so much. But I at least hit the bags, and I like that. But I like to wrestle too. I still like to do jiu-jitsu. So I got to get back to it. I got some time off. I'm trying to work the gi a little bit now. I never used to do gi stuff, so just now messing around with the gis makes it a little different, but it's fun.
Yeah, more skills, right? The more, the better you know.
Yep, for sure.
And Chuck, are you big into football? Do you care about the Super Bowl? Are you excited about it?
I cared about the Super Bowl up until last week, 2 weeks ago when Green Bay lost.
So you're mad at the 49ers right now?
Yeah, but I'm actually going to root for him. My buddy's a 49er fan, so I told him if they beat us, I'd root for him. So I'm rooting for the 49ers this week.
Go ahead.
My bad. You know what's funny about everything? You know who one of his best friends is? We've had him on the show.
Former fighter?
No, former NFL player.
No, I don't know.
Lorenzo Neal.
Oh, really?
Lorenzo Neal and...
I was messing with him over there. Just messing with him over there. That's funny.
Him and Lorenzo Neal.
People realize we're telling the story over there. Like, he used to tell me, because he knew I wrestled in college. I was doing kickboxing, working at a bar. He said, why aren't you fighting in the UFC? We got to get you in the UFC. And this was when I was probably 95, 96. And he's like, we got to get you in the UFC. You can win this thing. I know you can. He'd been saying that for a couple years before I got in, but I finally got in. Well, back then, you didn't know how to get in. I didn't know how to get in.
Yeah.
Now you hear stories about people having a tournament to get in, and like, well, okay, where is it?
He's like a promoter / agent / NFL player.
Yeah, he's
everything for you.
He's a wild man. I love him.
Yeah, he is a wild man.
I'll tell you, before I fought Tito, he wanted to make sure I was okay. So he's an All-American wrestler. Heavyweight, he plays the Nationals. So he came down and wanted to spar a few rounds with me and try to take me down while I was punching at him. And so I put the big gloves on, and he's just in there trying to shoot on me, and I punched him in the head. Let me hear. Well, this is why he's playing for the Chargers.
Wow.
I think it was the Chargers at the time. He was playing for the Chargers. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, after 2 rounds, you know, oh, you're good. Okay, I'm ready. Yeah, you're ready. Okay, but it was fun. It was funny. I love him. If you want me to, I'll spar with him.
Man, I told him, I'm like, you should have been in the UFC too. He's like, no, I'm good where I was at. And I'm like, I'm just saying, he's that big.
Yeah, well, he was tough. He's a good wrestler.
Yeah.
And Chuck, you're here for BioAccelerator. Did I get that right?
BioAccelerator,
There you go. Oh, can you tell me about that?
But it's easy for me to promote those guys because there's very few things that I can say this definitely helped me. The brain training one helped me for one thing, and then this one, my shoulders I couldn't put I was having stewardesses that try to help me put my bag up. I'm like I'm good. You know, I couldn't throw a ball. I couldn't throw without wincing. So my son would be like, I don't want to play catch with you. So I went to my doctor and said, you got to fix this. And he's like, hey, well, look, I looked at the MRI and said, look, your shoulders are pretty beat up, but it's just wear and tear, and I really don't want to do surgery unless I have to. And so we go try PRP. And so I looked up online at PRP, and they're talking about, they said stem cells was like PRP on steroids. So I'm like, you know what, I should try this. And we got in touch with BioAccelerator, and I went down there and tried it out. And I tell you, I went from doing that to throwing weights over my head. I went a second time 2 years later, but it wasn't bad. But between those 2 years, I beat my shoulders up as bad as you could beat them up. I was throwing stuff weights over my head. I was like, come on, guys. I'm punching. I was doing everything. And now I can still do everything. I mean, and it worked amazing for me. So that, yeah, they did a great job. They do a lot of good stuff down there. So if someone's interested, you know, it's a good thing to try.
Well, I'm glad you're doing well and much better. That's pretty cool to see, Fernando.
Yeah, no, definitely awesome. Thank you, Chuck, the Iceman Liddell. Thank you so much for jumping on with us. We truly appreciate it, and honestly, we are geeked out that we were able to get this done with you.
Oh, by the way, bioaccelerator.com, they're giving away a free treatment to somebody. You got to send me your story and all that stuff, but they're going to give a full treatment away from somebody, so it's pretty cool.
That is awesome. But thank you so much, Chuck, for jumping on with us. We truly appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.